Hello everyone, I'm Sharpedo43 once again, bringing you all week 10 of the NGDL. Today we're going to be facing the real ones. He's not the original coach of the Toronto Razor Leafs. The original coach was actually Toronto Pure, but he decided to drop out for some random reason. But honestly, I personally don't give a shit, because honestly, that guy is probably the last person I want to face in a draft league, in all honesty. If you guys want an explanation to that, just watch my battles from the NGDL from season 1, and you guys will know why I'd rather not battle Toronto Pure. So yeah, anyway, so he dropped out, so instead we're going to be battling the real ones, who's going to be representing the Toronto Razor Leafs for the rest of the season. And thankfully, the real ones is not like Toronto Pure, and is not going to carry annoying things like Blissey on his team. So he actually made I think he made some transactions, and one of those was Blissey. So he got rid of Blissey basically, thankfully, because that thing was honestly going to be a big pain in my rear end if he happened to bring it. But yeah, so what he has instead, at least right now for this battle, is Electivire, Skuntank, Megalopony, Machamp, Tapu Fini, and Espeon. I think the only thing I did not expect him to bring was the Machamp, just because he had Megalopony already. But I guess because he's afraid of Sharpedo and the fact that it can do a lot of damage. And I think there's a chance that I may not even be able to KO it with Psychic Fangs if I'm running a Jolly Nature one, which I think I might need for stuff like Espeon if it happens to be a Scarf set or something. Nah, because it would outspeed, but still, I wanted my Sharpedo to be fast or something. I personally don't know what the thought process is in most of the opponents, but I kind of was thinking that maybe he'll think I run Jolly, because I do run Jolly on Sharpedo most of the time. It's personally my favorite of variant of Sharpedo, just because it allows Sharpedo to outspeed a lot of things, and if a lot of mons are withered down real quick, it can get a good late game sweep without getting disrupted by anything. So, but as you can see, I did not bring Sharpedo this time around, just because I felt like he had a lot of things for Sharpedo, and a lot of these things that he has on his team, they look like the types of Pokemon that he can like run substitute with. So I didn't want to do that whole predictable protecting shenanigan and then get predicted. So I just decided to bring something more on the offensive lines here with this team. Cofagrigus. The Cofagrigus is actually bulky this time because of the fact that Megalopony can still hit the Cofagrigus real hard. It'll lose Scrappy, sure, but not without getting a lot of damage on the Cofagrigus. So I ran it physically defensive this time around. Cradily has rocks with Infestation so that he can trap stuff like Tapu Fini. Volcanian's offensive with I think Choice Scarf, and Sylveon is leftovers. This is a defensive Sylveon. Pangoro is, you're gonna see Pangoro right now. And Dragonite has kind of been the same from previous weeks, but I mean, it's kind of been working. You know what they say, don't fix what isn't broken, but you know, that's just me. Anyways, so this is gonna be the battle. It's gonna be between me and the real ones, the new representative of the Toronto Razor Leafs. And I think he's the one that's gonna lead. He's the only leader with the Electivire, which is fine with me, honestly. Actually, at first I didn't think it was fine because I lead with Cofagrigus, and it's very, very possible that he can actually run the Electrium Z on this Electivire, so I decided to switch out and not take super quantities of damage. I don't even know if that even makes sense, but you know what I'm saying. I didn't want to take a lot of damage, so I switched in Cradily, which does resist, so if he goes for that Z move turn 1, I at least absorb it relatively well with this Cradily. Because I was anticipating a Z Wild Charge from this thing, and my Cradily is physically defensive this time around, so yeah. He does go into Espeon though, and I was thinking, okay, this thing is not going to let me get my rocks up, so what I'm going to do right now is go for the Infestation. What he does with this Espeon is go for a trick, giving me a Choice Scarf, taking away my Chople Berry. Yeah, I had Chople Berry on that Cradily, just on the off chance that he tries to high jump kick with Megalopony as I try to get my rocks up or something. So yeah, but he now gave me a Choice Scarf, so now I have to switch. He can't double on me here because I have him with the Infestation, so I decided to go into Pangoro, hoping he goes for Psychic. Unfortunately, he kind of predicts me and goes for Shadow Ball. Thankfully, he did not get that Spadef drop, because if he did, this Dazzling Gleam would have KO'd me even with this Roselli Berry that I actually carried on this Pangoro, specifically for this Espeon on the off chance it did carry Dazzling Gleam. So I can take a Dazzling Gleam and then just KO this thing with a knockoff, which was what I wanted, in all honesty, because now this takes out the Espeon, and now I don't have to worry about anything magic bouncing my hazards away, which was what I wanted for this guy's team. He's gonna go into Machamp now, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can outspeed this thing or not, so I'm just gonna go into Sylveon to see if he wants to go for maybe like a Break or something. He ends up going for Bullet Punch, so I kind of forgot that this thing gets priority, but it did. So to an extent, I'm kind of glad I sent in Sylveon, but it's still super effective against Sylveon. But Sylveon's defensive this time around, so it takes the Bullet Punch relatively okay. And here I decided to go for a Hyper Voice because he's gonna want to switch out, right? He does not, and this Machamp was able to take a Hyper Voice crit from a Sylveon. This is a defensive Sylveon, but even then, I'm pretty sure that most Sylveons, even defensive, can KO Machamps. But then again, like, and then after this, it actually goes for Poison Jab, and then ends up surviving as well. Sylveon, that is. So this is a weird portion of the battle. Machamp is able to take a freaking Hyper Voice from Sylveon, but then Sylveon's also able to take a Poison Jab from a Machamp. That's kind of crazy, honestly. Anyways, as you guys saw, I just went for Protect just to get some HP back, and then I decided to hard switch into Volcanion. Reason being was because I was under the impression that maybe this Machamp was a Soul Vest, and it cannot set up on me, so if I just switch into Volcanion here, anticipating another Poison Jab, or even a Bullet Punch, I should be fine just sending it in, so I can take a hit, and then just hitting it real hard with a Steam Eruption or Fire Blast, or I think it was Flamethrower in this case. But because I anticipated the Tapu Fini switch, I actually just go for the Sludge Bomb, predicting it to switch. So it does quite, actually it doesn't do as much as I wish it could have done, this considering this is I think a modest Volcanion. So I was like, okay, would he stay in? I wasn't sure, but I didn't want to over predict anything. I didn't want to take a Moonblast on anything else on my team, so I just decided to stay in and go for another Sludge Bomb. Especially because seeing how well it took the Sludge Bomb, I was kind of afraid he tried to go for Calm Mind with the Tapu Fini, so I kind of didn't want that. So considering Tapu Fini doesn't have a lot of reliable recovery, I can at least weaken it while it sets up. So yeah, here he ends up going into Skuntank though after letting his Machamp die because he didn't want to just send something else and take unnecessary damage. So here with this Skuntank, I switch out. I go into Credilli. Reason why is because I was kind of expecting the knockoff. It would have been nice to knock off that Choice Scarf that I didn't want, but he did not. He actually went for Crunch. So now what I'm going to do here is just one way or another get my Stealth Rocks up. So here, I think here I decided to switch out Credilli and go straight into Volcanion again, because if he goes for Poison Jab, I'm not going to get poisoned because the Misty Terrain is up, and I can just scare him away and force him to bring back Tapu Fini and cause the Misty Terrain to go away when I need it to. It did go away right here, but now it's only up to him as to whether or not he wants to bring back Tapu Fini. He chooses to not. He chooses to. I think here he tries to predict me to try to predict him to go for a Tapu Fini switch. So he probably thought I was gonna go for a Sludge Bomb there, but nope. I went for a Steam Eruption right there. Here he goes into Electivire, and this does force me to switch out because I do not want to take a Electric move from this thing. So I decided to sack Pangoro on the off chance he tries to go for Volt Switch. I can get some switch initiative, but he does not. He just goes for the Wild Charge and takes out my Pangoro, which was a sack, so I'm perfectly fine with this, as long as I get a safe switch into something else without taking an unnecessary damage. Here, he's gonna go, or I'm gonna go for Cavaliers. Reason being is because I wanted to get the Toxic Spikes up now. He's gonna Volt Switch though. He's not gonna stay in and go for Wild Charge. I was fine with this matchup at first because I realized that his Electivire was not Z moved, it was actually Life Orb, so I decided to go for the Toxic Spikes here. And then after this, I think I switch back into Volcanion. Reason being is because if he sees me setting up these hazards, he's probably going to want to go for the Defog. So I figured he can Defog, but now I get a free switch into Volcanion without taking any unnecessary damage. And if he predicts my switch and goes for something like Nature's Madness, I don't mind, because I'll just keep Sludge Bombing. And his what's it called? His Skuntank is gone, so nothing is gonna take a Sludge Bomb very well at this point. In all honesty, I don't think he wants to get his Lopunny weakened either, especially now that I have the hazards of the Toxic Spikes. So here he actually ends up going for Moonblast on my switch into Volcanion. I'm fine with this, although I would be a little annoyed if he got the special attack drop, because then KOing this Tapu Fini would have taken a lot more longer. Here I go for Sludge Bomb. It does not take it out once again. It's a 3-hit KO from the looks of it, this Sludge Bomb onto Tapu Fini, which is actually kind of crazy. So yeah, he goes for another Moonblast though, I think, here. And it does not take me out, thankfully. So this allows me to take out Tapu Fini. I was personally glad he did not get the hazards off, honestly, because that's kind of what I wanted. I needed these hazards so that this Lopunny can get poisoned eventually. It doesn't get poisoned right now though because the Misty Terrain is up, but I have a lot of fodder until the Misty Terrain goes away so that I can actually eventually get it poisoned and then wither it down on the off chance I have nothing that can take hits from that Lopunny. So yeah, here he's gonna Mega Evolve. I think here I hard switch into Cofagrigus just to I think here what I wanted to do was set up a Trick Room, but because he went for Fake Out, I was thinking, you know what, instead why don't we try to go for I think Knockoff here. Also, I think it was also because of the fact that the Misty Terrain was going to go away, so I was thinking, you know what, now's the perfect time to go for Will-O-Wisp. And I was thinking, because I thought he would maybe want to stay in and try to go for Ice Punch and freeze me, but he doesn't. He ends up going into Electivire, which will take Rocks damage and Poison damage. And so Will-O-Wisp is not going to work out basically here, because he decided to switch out. And the Misty Terrain is gone, so anything that switches in now is going to take the Toxic Spikes damage. So what I decided to do right here is, because he's very, very weakened at this point, I was thinking, you know what, I'll let him go for Wild Charge here on my Cofagrigus, and I'm just going to go straight for the Trick Room. He loses the Motor Drive ability for whatever it's worth. I didn't bring in Electric type this time around, so I didn't think it was necessary to get that ability change, but I'll take it. I'm going to go for Trick Room right here, so that anything that's left on my team can outspeed Mega Lopunny and possibly take it out. It'll be easy to wither down, considering now it's going to be poisoned thanks to the Toxic Spikes. And as you can see, this Electivire is basically going to go down thanks to the fact that it took Recoil damage, Life Orb damage, and then Poison damage. So down goes Electivire, and now his last Pokemon is basically this Lopunny. I could win this with Cofagrigus, I believe, one-on-one, but it would take too long, so I decided to switch into Dragonite, which was a risky play, because if he went for the Ice Punch straight up right here, there's a very, very small chance he can freeze me, in all honesty. But I personally wanted to hasten the process. So, and because Trick Room is up, I don't need to set up a Dragon Dance, so I'm just going to go straight for this Devastating Drake right here. Yeah, because I'm still carrying this Devastating Drake on Dragonite, because thankfully a lot of these teams that I've been facing so far have not been able to get their Fairy types in against my Dragonite, so that's really good. So I've been able to abuse this Dragonium Z, and it's been working me wonders, honestly. Like, I've been able to just nuke something with Devastating Drake, and it's actually really cool. But yeah, as you can see, I use it here, and I take out this Lopunny, which is his last Pokemon. And as you can see, we're going to also win 5-0, which is really, really good, because previously I lost 2 battles, and well, actually last week I won, but the 2 battles prior, the battle against Zach and then Quilliams, I lost. They were not terrible losses, but you know, every small amount of differential that like every time we lose, even 2 points of differential is going to matter a lot in the long run, in all honesty. So yeah, I'm personally glad that we won with a really, really high score, actually, because now we're actually going to be doing very, very well. We're going to be 5-5 now, so yeah, feels good to win. But yeah, good game once again to the real ones. Thank you all for watching week 10 of the NGDL. Next week we're going to be facing Orlando Till and the Orlando Octillery. It's a pretty cool name, not gonna lie. And in all honesty, just because of that alone, I can't wait to face this guy. But he's actually going to be tough, because I looked at his draft and he's also going to be a pretty scary opponent. But we're going to see what we can do. But anyways, for today, that's going to be it. Or should I say for tonight, because this is a late night battle, by the way. But it's going to be posted in the morning, or maybe in the afternoon, depending on what I got to do tomorrow. But for now, that's going to be it. I'll catch you guys all later. But for now, just take it easy.